Hey guys, it is Sparks, and today is gonna be a different video. So for the first time on this channel, I'm going to be making a design tutorial. And on my Twitter, which you can follow at Sparks Design, I did a poll on if people wanted to see me make an overlay or a header. And it was basically 50-50, so I decided just to do header first. And then I did whether they wanted me to do this Ascendant header, which is the organization I designed for, or a different one I just recently made for a client. And it seemed to me leaning towards Ascendant, so I'm going to be showing you how I made this Ascendant header, which got a lot of good feedback. So if you guys want to go follow me on Twitter, you can see my recent designs, and you can also purchase work if that's what you want to do. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're gonna make a new project, 1500 by 500 obviously. Make sure it's on RGB color resolution. Doesn't really matter, I just keep it at 72, whatever floats your boat. So make sure you double click background so you can edit it if you absolutely need to. And so as you can see in this, there's a background picture over here, and that's actually two pictures I edited so it would look nice and pretty. So on Google, these are the two I used. There's this one on the left, so you're just going to copy and paste it, go to your new one, Control V, and then it doesn't really matter that it's small because you're not going to be able to make it out anyway. And then I also used this one, I believe. Doesn't really matter, they all do the same thing. So as you can see, there's like these lights. Oh, by the way, Control T so you can adjust the size, and then right click if you want to change anything else. So there's these bright lights, and you don't want that to shine through incredibly, or else it'll ruin the design. So you make them both cover the entire background. Control V, hold shift on the corner so it keeps its size. If you don't, then it'll do this whole thing. So Control V, shift on the corner, and just mess with it, whatever ends up looking best. If you want, you can flip it, which I might do. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna make it huge and then do this. And so you can see it overlaps, but to make it look better, take an eraser, turn the opacity down to about 50 or so. Hold Alt and scroll up or down on your mouse to mess with, how big that is on your screen. And then just click. Oop, that's a little too much. And just in case I'm going over a little bit, go down to your background on the right, Control I, it'll make it black. That looks good. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, you see these bright lights, and you don't want that in the design at all. So you're gonna go to this little half circle thing down here, it's half filled, and go to exposure, if I can find it, and just mess with it a little bit. Like, don't do anything extreme. Maybe. So as you can see, it basically made it darker. It'll make it easier to edit. And then what we're gonna do, to get completely rid of the bright orange lights, we're gonna do the same thing, but instead of exposure, we're going to go to gradient map instead of this blue. So it's automatically going to do the colors you had as your foreground and background color over here. Right now it's black and white because I'm on gradient map. And so you're going to click on this, and then you're going to go to black and white. You could also go over to image and go to black and, or adjustments. Sorry, no. I'm stupid. Yeah, sorry. Image adjustments and black and white, but then you have to do it twice for each image, and that's no fun. So I just do gradient map. same thing. Just makes them black and white. So as you can see, we already have this cool-ish background. But obviously we're going to edit it some more so it actually looks like a header you'd want for an esports organization. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So this tutorial basically is just editing an image from a video game and making it look cool. So you're going to have the solid color after the same exact thing, solid color. And so I use this blue. It's hex code 102E50 if you want to use it. And so you put it on soft light and turn it down to about 75-ish. That looks good. Same thing, same exact color. And this time turn it to overlay. And turn this one down to about 70. And then you can actually change the overlay or opacity. Sorry, not overlay, opacity. Without using your mouse, you just use the arrows, and it makes it a little easier if you're closer. So you see, you can already see the changes to the header. And then same color, but this time we're going to put it on multiply. What this is going to do is it's going to make it darker, and it's going to make some of the things pop out. You could also use linear burn, except in this instance it's not going to work, just because how dark it really is. Linear burn would only work if, let's say we use linear burn, but we use it on a darker or lighter blue, then that would work, but it doesn't look as good in this instance. So we're not going to do that. We're going to change it to multiply. If I can find it, up there, yep. Now we're going to change this way down to 50. Way down to 50. That's looking a little dark, actually. I don't know if I really like that. I might have to change it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do solid color again, same exact color. This time we're going to put it on dissolve, and this is it's really going to add a bunch of little dots to it, but it's actually going to create a really cool texture to our header. Oh, didn't see that. Dissolve, and we're going to turn it way, way, way down. See, like right now you see the dots? We don't want that. We want it just a little bit. Like that, maybe a little less. So 2 maybe? That's 3, let's get 2. So solid color again. Did not want to lock it. Solid color. But this time we're going to do a little darker blue. We're going to do this blue over here that I have. This is hex code 091F39. As you can see down here if you want to use it. We're just going to keep this one on normal, and we're going to turn it down. Way down. Let's try turning these down a little bit. I think that looks good. Let's mess with the exposure. It's do like that. I like it. So as you can see in the header that I made earlier, there's these like bright lights in some of the spots, like right here, I think there's one right here. The way you do that is we're going to choose a lighter blue. Actually, we're going to choose the blue of the organization, which is hex code 3FBEEE. We're going to get our brush, make a new layer, make sure it's not the same layer. That looks good. So 2 ways to change your brush size, which is the way I usually just use this and go down a little bit maybe. That looks good. Make sure your hardness is on 0 so that it doesn't look terrible. Or you can use Alt and then right click and then drag up or down. Or you can use, and if you want to change the color without using this, choose Alt, left click, and then go over something that you want. So the the top one's obviously the one you use. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go back here, make the color that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click in a couple spots. Right there, let's do right here. Change it to linear dodge add. And we're gonna change the we're gonna lower the opacity quite a bit. That looks good. Yeah. Alright, so in the header I made, you can see these like auroras or flares and lights, which down here and down here, a little one up here. There's also these black ones right there. So Flow Graphics is a really good designer and YouTuber. So I picked up his 75K graphics pack, which had some really cool stuff on it, and I actually used it to my advantage. So what I used for this is you go down here. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to go get it. Get on Aurora. Oh, no. I don't really, might want to use that one, I don't know. No. Just find one you like. It really doesn't matter. They're all going to have basically the same effect. Let's just use this one for now. It's not going to be the only one we use, obviously. Alright, let's go back up here, find another one we like. I think I used flares a lot. Yeah, I used flares. Drag it over. Okay, so for the flares, what I did is I just turned the saturation down to nothing, and it created this really cool light thing. And so I made it smaller and I put it in some really cool spots. Control J to copy. Move it over here if you want. And this one I'm actually going to make black. Control T and then rotate if you don't like it, which is what I'm going to do right here. That looks good. And then you're going to lower the opacity of the one on the left a little bit. You don't have to, but I am. There we go. And now we still have this. And I'm not really going to change this one. It's already the right color, really. Just lower the opacity down. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Control J, Control T, move it over, rotate, whatever you want, just as long as it looks good. And we're actually going to lower this one down a little bit, because in the bottom right, because it's kind of just out there, and you don't want that. You want it all to look good. That looks pretty good. Now, there's something else I did, which is this little light thing up here. Whenever you're making a header, you almost 95% of the time want to do this. Grab a white brush. This is, most designers know this, but if you're just getting into designing, you want a white brush the top up here, and then lower the opacity down quite a bit, and then it creates this really cool effect, and I'll show you what it does. So make a white brush. You want to make the size around 1,000 to 1,200-ish. Now make sure you have your ruler. If your ruler isn't out, Control R. Mine already is. And then just drag it towards the middle, and it'll actually snap. So you'll know when it snaps, it's in the middle. So it'll snap into place like that. So create a new layer. And then go towards the middle, line it up, and then let it go. Just click. Lower the opacity down. See? Okay, so this is with it, that's without it. So you can see it adds quite a bit of just pop to it. So that's the background, and so everything else is basically just involved with the organization I designed for him. So I'm going to go ahead and add the logo, drag it over, put this back up here, and then we're going to Control T, use Shift to keep it the same size, and then just line it up, and then use the arrows if you need to, push Enter, and I can't remember if I kept the ascendant part. I'm actually going to lower it and center it. Let's move it up a little bit. Actually, a little bit more. Okay. So as you can see, I had this professional esports organization thing down here. What I did, for the font, I used Evagria, which you can go to defont.com and type in Evagria. I'm using italic, so professional. Esports organization. Can't spell right now or type. So you're gonna highlight this and then lower the size. 14. Let's try 18. And then if you want to make the text spaced out, you highlight it, hold Alt, and then use the arrows left or right to make them space out. And then Control T to line it up. Move it over until you see the line flash in red right there in the middle. Push Enter and it's good. I'm not going to worry about adding the sponsors because that takes like 5 or 10 extra minutes and you don't really need that, to be honest. And then so for everything I had over here, I used font Agency FB. I used regular, I think, for the top. No, I used bold. I used bold. So I used bold. So I would put something like, I put something like follow us on Instagram. And then I'd push Enter. Not Enter, actually, that's wrong. You don't push Enter. You create another text, you put slash, and you put blah 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 blah. And then I would put the logo right here, and it creates, oh, I'll move it up a little bit actually. Move it down. Okay, and then to make it centered, you push Control. You hold down Control, and then click the layers you want to use. So I have both of these highlighted, so I ended up moving both of them. And then Control T, you can line it up, and they're actually really big. I'm gonna lower that, make it smaller. I'm not gonna worry about adding the logo right now. So if you want to make 4 of them, just Control J, move it over, and then then highlight both of them again, Control J, and then you can move both of them over. Like that, you have this cool looking thing. And then I haven't said another thing. That's really stupid. There's another thing I haven't talked about, is this ascendant in the background, right here. And I created something really cool, I think it was this layer. Yeah. So I don't know, it looked cool to me, so I did it. So what I did, so you go create a new layer, and then you right click on the T, which is text tool, you go to the horizontal type mask tool, and you're gonna make the font pretty big. You're gonna make it probably 250. No, that's too small. You're gonna make it 400, I think. That looks good. And then I would put ascendant, highlight it, Alt left so it's not so big. I kind of messed it up. Yeah, I messed it up. Okay, so I messed it up. So what you're gonna do actually is make sure. So up here, if this is in the middle, which I thought it was on the left. So if it's on the left, then you start over here. If it's in the middle, you start in the middle. I didn't realize I had it on the middle. That's my bad. So ascendant. Keep messing this up. This actually takes a little bit to line up because once you type the letters, you can't go back. So that's the only thing that sucks. So yes, there we go. So now I have it lined up, alt left until you get the whole thing in there. You actually don't need the whole thing, let's just make it like that. Alright. Is that? It's weird. Okay, whatever. Okay, so I'm just rushing through this for the sake of the video. When you're doing this, make sure you make it good. So once you have that down, you're gonna go up to image, or sorry, no, edit. You're gonna go edit, not image. You're gonna go edit. Make sure you're on the layer. Go to stroke, and then I think I made mine gray. It doesn't really matter. I'm actually gonna make it white. No, gray. And make the width like 4. That looks good. And then Control D will deselect it, and you're gonna lower the opacity down. To about that. And then if you want to mess with it a little bit, you can Control T, and then move it over, blah blah blah. And then you have this really cool ascendant thing in the background, and it just adds a whole lot to it. So I think that's pretty much it. It's a little different from what I actually made, but you know, what are you gonna do? Thank you guys for watching. One of my friends just got into designing, and he's been looking for people to make free headers for. Like, he just got into designing. He's looking for practice, so if you want to hit him up, I'll put his link in the description, or Twitter link in the description. DM him. Go give him some practice if you want to. He's looking to make some free headers for people. Or if you want to purchase something from me, you can DM me on Twitter. I'll put link to my Twitter in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and have a fantabulous day.